But the Democrats, the Democrats want the people to do it. They're getting paid $170,000 a year. We got people making minimum wage, living paycheck to paycheck, and they're saying, nope, you have to march.
The people.
Can I give you my little rant about the Democrats really quick? Is that okay?
Let's rant.
Let's rant. Okay. This is where I see we are as just an overall picture. You have Make America White Again, right? They couldn't vote for the black woman, so they found every excuse to vote for the plantation owner in the White House. And then you have the do nothing Democrats. You have, I put what a jellyfish would be as a congressman, and it spit out Hakeem Jeffries. I'm not kidding. That's what it gave me. It said, here's Hakeem Jeffries. He gives strongly worded letters. Eric Swalwell goes out and makes a bunch of funny memes. You got Chuck Schumer yesterday on Blue Sky that says Trump is snorting bronzer. I'm not kidding. This is the minority leader of the Senate.
And he sent him a strongly worded letter.
Yeah, I don't give a damn. You got 50 Democrats that voted for Marco Rubio, who's siding with Vladimir Putin. You got 10 Democrats that voted for the CR. 127 Democrats voted not to impeach him because it wasn't politically beneficial. Then you had Cory Booker. Great, he gave a speech. Good job, Cory Booker.
25 hours.
25 hours. And then he votes for Charles Kushner, who's a convicted felon. This guy was literally witness tampering, and he nominates him. Then you got 14 Democrats that vote for the crypto bill. I just don't understand, Leonard. We have one party that's supporting fascism, and then you have the other party that's just sitting around saying, wait for me in the midterms, vote for us, we're not Republicans. I interviewed Eric Swalwell about 6 weeks ago, and we had talked about a general strike because I still feel like that's the only way this ends is when people use their power. And he says, that's too demonstrative. We got people drinking out of toilets in concentration camps, but that's too demonstrative. We got military police in D.C., but that's too demonstrative. I said, would the Democrats consider this? Well, only if it got people registered and it helped Democrats win. I lost all respect for Eric Swalwell. Why is it your job to worry about getting reelected in a year and a half? I mean, Leonard, the House is on fire right now. If the Democrats are, well, we're going to let the House burn.
You got to fight
$10. I'm not a Republican.
70% of Democrats want them to fight fire with fire. They want them to take the gloves off. How are you supposed to be, let's say, in a UFC fight where there's no eye gouging, there's no kicking in the groin, there's no using your knee when the person's on the ground, and you're fighting against someone who has zero rules. Yep. Well, you're never going to win. That's the bottom line. But I don't know if you saw a couple of days ago, the governor of Maryland, Governor Moore,
he's awesome.
Was on. Yeah, but you know what? From a leadership point of view, they asked him about the comments with Trump, and he kind of said, well, that's not true. Like he didn't actually answer it. And then he went into, we need to do more. And what about Kamala Harris? She was on Stephen Colbert. And he asked her, so what's coming up? You're going to run for something, governor, this? No. And what does she say? During this conversation, she says, well, right now, the Democratic Party's broken. Okay, you don't wait for someone to fix it.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I should have waited out.
No, get in there.
Listen, I like Kamala Harris, okay? We have people in D.C., our own troops with firearms. And I know she lost. I get it. And this is going to rub people the wrong way, and I call balls and strikes. She's going on a book tour?
Well, that's why she was on Stephen Colbert. That's why she was on, not to say let's save democracy, not to save. You got to remember, she was elected by 75 million people.
Yes.
And here's the difference: when she lost, she walked away. When Donald Trump lost in 2020, he set up a fake office of the president, if you remember that, with a seal. He never left his people. He threatened to primary people who were against him. He told them to cancel legislation and not to vote for it. And he never stopped talking to his 77 million people. Is that the difference between MAGA and Democrats? Are they ever going to be successful?
I'm going to use a Rocky reference here. Listen, Sylvester Stallone is kind of a tool. I don't like the guy. I mean, he voted for this guy and he supports him. Rocky 5, okay? There's a scene with Tommy Gunn, and he's in there with Paul. You know where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this. And we didn't talk about this before the show, but he knows where I'm going with this. And Tommy Gunn comes in there, boom, punches Paulie, knocks him down, okay? Loses a tooth. And Rocky goes, why don't you try knocking me down, right? Now, you know what I envision? This is what I see for Hakeem Jeffries. hey, Tommy, I would really appreciate it if you didn't hit my friend. That's against the law. Would you like to sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk about your feelings? I mean, maybe we can talk about this and maybe we can hold a fight in a couple of months and work this out. Would that be okay, Tommy?
It's worse than that. They ask him a question. Jasmine Crockett, I love her.
Yep.
I love her to death. AOC, I love her. But they are not leaders, because what they say is, what are you going to do about this? Well, we're going to draft legislation, and we're certainly going to have those. We're going to have those. How many politicians say we're going to have those conversations, and we have to hold people accountable, and we can't let democracy die? But when you say to them, can I give you an analogy? So I was a police lieutenant. I go to a house, I'm en route, and there's a shooting. It's just a random shooting, no specific. And somebody's hurt inside, and people are yelling, and cars are pulling away, and officers are showing up, and they're getting their gear out. And you're across the street because, the lieutenant doesn't go right up onto the scene. You have an inner perimeter sergeant. And let's say they came to me and they said, okay, somebody might be hurt inside, and there's shots. The neighbors heard shots, and people are, what do we do? And I go, well, we're going to have to stick together. We're going to have to hold lawbreakers accountable, and we're going to have to make sure that we follow all the laws and the relevant laws. And we're damn mad that there's a shooting in there. And then they say to me, oh, that's not leadership. What do we do next?
Yes.
What is the next step? What do you want us to do? And if I don't have that answer, then I can't be the leader. And that's where the Democratic Party is.
They are
right now.
And you know what they did? You know what Rocky did? He took his butt out in the street. He put him through the gutter. He put him through garbage cans. He put him up against the garbage truck. That's what people in the Democratic Party want. That's why they have like an 8% approval rating, because they suck, because they're not fighting for the people. But give me $10 in a year and a half. If we still have a democracy, maybe we'll do something for you. This is what if it was me, if I was Hakeem Jeffries, thank God I'm not, because I have a backbone and I can sit up straight in my chair. Every day I would tell him, this is what I would do. Leonard, you tell me if you disagree. I don't care if you're in Congress or the Senate. You get your ass to D.C. within 48 hours. If not, I'm going to.
Yeah, where were they yesterday? Where were they?
That's what I'm saying. You get to D.C. I don't want to hear any excuses. You're going to protest every day. We're going to split out throughout the entire city. We're going to sleep in tents in the park. And then the next day, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the halls of Congress. And if we get arrested, then you arrest all of us. We're going to hold an unofficial congressional hearing, and we're going to bring every news media there. Why not do that?
And I thought, actually, without talking to you, I thought of the same thing.
Yeah.
You don't need permission to have your own committee.
No.
You don't need permission to come up with ideas and direction. You don't need permission to file legal challenges and to file possibly criminal charges for some of the things that are going on. So the question is, why have they not done it? And let me just mention Brandon Johnson, mayor of Chicago. They interviewed him on Morning Joe a couple days ago. And they say to him, would 5,000 officers help make your city safer? And he won't answer. He says, it's all about crime, and we're fighting crime and the police. Then they ask him again. The third time, he says, I'm going to ask you for a third time if 5,000 police officers would help crime. And he kind of went off and said, it's about democracy, and we don't want the military here. But does a mayor of a large city, don't we deserve an accurate answer? Now, he could say, how could you not put 5,000 officers in a large city and affect crime? However, they have to be trained properly. I don't want them violating anyone's rights.
Right.
I don't want any use of force that's not necessary and that's extensive. And say, if we train them properly and we teach them what to do, and they go out to the community with the intent to put bad guys away. But he didn't say any of that. He didn't know what to say.
Because they're absolutely pathetic. They just are.
Where's the leadership?
Well, and right now, Leonard, listen, you know what? Do you know what the troops are doing right now? They're wearing orange vests, picking up garbage, and spreading mulch in the park. This is what they're doing in D.C.
How do you wear camouflage with an orange reflective vest? That makes no sense.
I have pictures of it. I'll show you later.
Well, what I'm saying is it's
crazy.
It doesn't make any logical sense.
But you know what? Here's the problem again. And this is the larger issue. The Democrats should be there. And I don't care. I'm actually disappointed that no Democrat has been arrested yet. What if John, let's play this out. Let's say John Lewis said, you know what? I can't afford to do that. I don't want to lose my job. I'm not going to cross the bridge. What if Martin Luther King goes?
That's how you affect change.
The Democrats, the Democrats want the people to do it. They're getting paid $170,000 a year. We got people making minimum wage, living paycheck to paycheck, and they're saying, nope, you have to march.
The people.
The people, they're on CNN and MSNBC every night.
But you know what? You and I are passionate about this, and we have some good ideas.
Right.
But I was not elected by 300,000 or 400,000. Jasmine Crockett, I think, was elected by 200,000 or 300,000 people. There's people in there's politicians in California. That one gentleman they took out and put on his knees. I forget his name. He was elected by like 6 million people.
Oh, Padilla, or Senator?
I think so. Yeah.
The one that got arrested that one day.
Yeah.
Alex Padilla.
Okay, so the point is, I wasn't elected by 6 million people.
I agree.
So you decided to run, and you're representing. Now you're saying, oh, we're going to have to stick together, and we're going to have to hold them accountable with no concrete plan.